So the words of Shalom Aleichem, and I welcome all of you into the Shtiebel this very cool and particularly dark Melbourne night, Shabbat night. I also want to particularly say hi to Jody, who asked us to stream, and remind everyone that we're more than happy to turn on the cameras and press stream if you ask, but otherwise there's enough out there on the internet, we don't need to just add into that. So Shabbat Shalom, Jody. Shalom Aleichem is this the song of preparation and anticipation. And so much of the Shabbat that we're about to enter into is about that anticipation and that preparation. In the rabbi's genius, they figured out a way to organize the luach, the Torah reading cycle, in such a way that regardless of whether it was a leap year or not, regardless of what festivals fell on Shabbat and which fell midweek, Parashat Bamidbar, a moment, our entry into the wilderness, would always be read on the Shabbat before Shavuot. A reminder that wisdom and enlightenment came within the wilderness. And so as we enter into the Shabbat, I think the challenge, whether it might just be a service this evening or might be other observances and opportunities to gather with community, family, and friends beyond, is just to take a moment to think about, for yourself, what it means to put yourself out into the wilderness, or perhaps to accept your place amidst the wilderness, so that you can be ready to receive Torah once more on Shavuot. It's a lot of pressure for one Shabbat, a lot of pressure for one service, but certainly something that is well and truly worth aspiring towards. Just as we began with the words of Shalom Aleichem, acknowledging the beauty of our people's tradition, I want to add to it words that are far older than ours. As I say, Wamajika and Wamajika. And join now voice and our people's tradition together with that of the traditional owners and first inhabitants of the land on which we gather, the Wurundjeri and the Burungi people of the East Kulin Nation. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging, for we know that they hold on to the stories, the memories, the traditions and cultures, as well as hopes of First Nations people across this land. May our shared faith in a future guide us towards a time when, united in spirit and purpose under the same sky, we can learn from the wisdom woven in the fabric of this great land. How great it is when peoples, brothers, sisters, family, friends, all peoples can sit together as equal. And so with the songs of welcome and acknowledgement, we turn to page 5 as we transition into Kabbalat Shabbat, the psalms that allow us to both reflect on the week that was, as well as prepare for the Shabbat that, please God, will be. We begin with excerpts from Psalm 95, 96, and 97. It's on page 5 and page 6. Top of page 6. Meaning of Shabbat. The meaning of Shabbat is to celebrate time rather than space. 6 days a week we live under the tyranny of things of space. On Shabbat we try to become attuned to the holiness in time. It's a day on which we are called upon to share in what is eternal in time. To turn from the results of creation to the mystery of creation. From the world of creation to the creation of the world. Psalm 98, 99 and 29. As we continue to make our way through the week that was, and draw closer to Shabbat that will be. I was chatting with a colleague earlier today from Lansing, and we were reflecting about similarities and differences in our respective Shabbat practices. And he shared with me his frustration or his lack of understanding of why Friday services took so long. He grew up in a traditional community. He grew up and went to a school where they davened multiple times a day at school, and he said, I know you can do this quicker. I know we can do this quicker. So why, when so often the rabbis, in crafting our tradition, the tradition that we've inherited, found ways to prioritize home and family and get through things at a pace when they wanted us to be doing something else. Why on a Friday night when we know that they, for themselves and certainly for us generations later, wanted us to be with family and friends around a table? Why did they add all these extra things into the Shabbat service? I've never heard the gripe given so articulately. I've heard the gripe before. Everyone wants to know why services take so long. But specifically in terms of a Friday night. And as I listened to him share his thoughts and share his experience, I realized, we were having this conversation in the midst of our work week. And I responded to him with the answer that came to me in the moment, but since then has continued to ring truer and truer and truer in my ears. Doing nothing, stopping. We spoke about this earlier. It's not easy. Actually stopping takes effort. It needs to be something consciously we think about. The idea of pausing to share or to reflect or to express gratitude doesn't just happen. We need to create the space in the busyness of our lives to make that happen. We have to think about the things that have happened before, as well as the things that we want to happen in the future. And so I said, I think the rabbis just went and picked these psalms because they liked them. They enjoyed singing them. They appreciated the sentiments contained within them. And they found that repeating them slowed them down. Allowed them to find the space and the time to enjoy Shabbat. We don't do the full Kabbalah Shabbat here. There's a lot more than these Psalms, in these Psalms and the verses that we've selected. But we're trying to really lean into that idea of the fact that we can slow down in order to welcome in. And having taken the time to reflect on the week that was, for me, it was a remarkable amount of it in bed, which is unusual for me. For all of you, I'm sure, very different experiences. We now, coming from all the different places that we've come from, find ourselves together standing on the precipice of Shabbat, about to welcome it in. And so regardless of what has pushed us through our week and what has held us back, what has sped us up and what has slowed us down, I want us to recognize we've had the benefit and the blessing of the Kabbalah Shabbat that has allowed us to kind of attune ourselves to ourselves and to each other, and allow us to offer the words of the Chabadi together as one. So as we turn to the final of the Psalms of Kabbalat Shabbat, Psalm 92 is called Shtiebel Yom Shabbat. I want to invite those of you who might not have an opportunity later this evening, who have not yet already kindled the lights of Shabbat. If you'd like to light some candles just on entry into the Shtiebel, there are candles that you're welcome to light with us. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So as we turn forward in our prayer books, before we arrive at the Ma'ariv, traditionally we would pause for Kaddish Yatom to acknowledge those amongst us who are remembering a loved one, someone who passed recently or someone who passed at this season in years gone by. But as we have for the last 8 months, we precede the Kaddish Yatom, the memory of those that we have lost, to offer a prayer for those who are missing. The prayer, as many of you know, was the cornerstone of Project Butterfly, this project that captivated the hearts and minds of so many in our community and beyond. As we spread these butterflies across Seder tables and families and homes, thinking of what was then 134 captives. We know since then the number has reduced, not through liberation, but through determination of faith. Yet for those who we know are still missing, for the absences at their tables, for their inability to share Shabbat, for the fact that they feel that they're not just in the wilderness this Shabbat, but are in the wilderness permanently, we offer the words of Achenu. Achenu is printed on the wall of the sanctuary. It's not in the prayer books. There are a few copies up there beside me. If you want to take some butterflies, you're welcome to take a few last butterflies with you. But these words ask that our brothers, all the house of Israel, those who are in distress and captivity, standing between the sea and dry land, may the Eternal One of Mercy have compassion upon them, bringing them out from distress to relief, darkness to light, from subjugation to redemption. We ask that all of these things happen now, swiftly, in our time. And so on page 10, we turn our thoughts to those, not just from those who are missing, to those who we have lost. We think first of those who passed in the last 7 days, and just shiver, we're still observing. If you're remembering someone who passed in the last 7 days, then I invite you to rise with me. We then extend our circle of remembrance out one step further and think of those who passed in the last 30 days, including in our community. Ruth Howard. If you're remembering someone who passed in the last 30 days, then I invite you to stand now with me in remembrance of them. And so we extend our circle of remembrance, Magalet Tzedek, out one step further, thinking of those who passed in the last 12 months and whose anniversary of their passing has not yet arrived. If you're in the period of Havelut and remembering someone who passed in the last 12 months, then I invite you to stand with me. And then finally, as our people have done for centuries, we think of those who passed at this season in years gone by, and whose Yotzat, the anniversary of their passing, we are remembering at this time. If you're remembering a loved one for Yotzat, then I invite you to rise with me. And then, if you are comfortable, I invite you to stand with those of us who are remembering a loved one, as we offer the words of Kaddish Yatom, the morning's Kaddish. Yikadal v'yikadash shomei rabah, v'amad yirach v'tei v'yamlich v'tei, v'chayachon v'nechon v'chei l'chol Beit Yisrael, v'agalav v'zman kariv v'yimulu. Amen. Yehei shmei rabam v'rach v'olam v'me'ach Yiparach v'shafat v'al v'toman v'seh, Yitadar v'talei v'talam shmei v'lisha v'yichulu, v'enam v'kol v'chatav v'shematav, v'shbachata v'nechemata, v'aminon v'amimah v'yimulu. Amen. Yehei shmam rabam shmaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimulu. Amen. V'seh shalom v'yimah, v'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol Yoshvei Tevel. Amen. So those of you who stood in remembrance of that one, I wish you long life.
Amen.
standing for the call to prayer, Baruch Hu, on page 12.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. Le'olam va'ed.
As we're seated, we continue with the Ma'ariv. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. בחוכמה פותח שערים ובקרונה משנה עתים ומחליף את הזמנים ומסדר את הכוכבים בשמרותיהם להרקיע כרצונו וראה יום ולילה גולה אור מחושך וחושך מפני אור ומעביר יום ובין לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וירטיבי תמוך עלינו לעולם ועד Baruch atah Adonai HaMa'ariv HaRavim.
Ahavat umam Beit Yisrael Amcha Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al ken Adonai Eloheinu Shobenu lekumenu, nasiya bechukecha, v'nismach b'toratecha, u'lemitzvotecha, le'olam va'ed. V'hem chayenu, Ve'orech yameinu, u'mehem nekeh yomam v'layla, v'chavatecha tasir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema let's see, Uspatem promis whatever night, Asitem Velotatu, Acharein Vachem, Acharein, Ashertem Zonim, Acharein, Velam Tiskeru, Asitem, Uspatay, Vitem Peloshim, Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohim, Asher Hotzeiti Etchem Me'eretz Mitzrayim, V'yot Lachem Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohim, Adonai Elohim, Yemes.
And that will up people's prayer of truth, redemption, and reconciliation on page 16.
Moses Yanyan Mama, Walaya Kuyaku, Naramura Ferayana, Naramura Ferayana, Naramura Ferayana, Naramura Ferayana. You are fair, I'm the night. You are fair, I'm the night. We come up on it all night. We come up on it night. Your voice, Lord, to you is again. Come, whatever
Bless you to everyone who redeems Israel and prayer, brings redemption to all peoples. Shtiebel Livestream Shalom, to be love and understanding amongst us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Eternal One, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, Shomer Mo Yisrael Ad, bless the Eternal One, guardian of Israel, now and forever. As we turn forward to page 18 and those that follow, we make space for us to offer the words of tradition, but also the words of our own hearts. We will begin the Amidah standing together in a few moments on page 18 with the opening words of Chana. Tammy will lead us in those responsive words. Eternal One. Open my lips and give them the ability to say, Agid, Tilatecha, my essence to you. And then we'll leave each other in personal, silent, either prayer or reflection or meditation, whatever takes you, whatever feels is a better determiner of what you want to do in that personal time. And then we'll rejoin each other at the closing rabbinic words of the Hillah so much can be found on the foot of page 25. We'll rise for the other.
Sefer
May the words of our mouths and the meditations of our soul be acceptable to you. Unlock and now Redeemer. So before I make a couple of quick announcements, I'm going to share a couple of observations which may be related to, and you can tell me later if they're related. The first is I've been reminded this evening of why someone shouldn't drink when they're on antibiotics and medication. I'm sorry if I slurred my speech and I slowed down a bit, but after my third sip, I'm like, there's something that's more than just a little bit of solid comfort.
Do you need time?
I'm okay. The second observation is, Jackie, while I did think you wore the matchy award, It wasn't until I saw Tammy turn around at the start of the Amidah with a gorgeous Thomas and a wonderful new hairdo and saw how well they matched each other. So Tammy, you officially wished them that we were matching. Like, that's tight. And my third observation, without pressure observation and anything, just how lovely this tea is singing short. It's really a beautiful thing, and I'm incredibly grateful for it. And I would like to do more often. So those are just some observations, probably because I am on the Italian industry. But I do want to remind you of some of the really exciting things that we're doing. And I think you described it beautifully, Patrick, when you said, oh, you guys are doing like a Pixar version of Shavuot. And that's very different to our Purim version, of Disney version of Purim, where we sang everything to Disney melodies. No, we're doing what we genuinely believe is an intergenerational approach to Shavuot. Shavuot has known by at least 4 names. At least 4 names. And we've created 4 activities that will allow us to focus on those, to connect with the holiday. And like a good Pixar film, we're throwing those activities out like this at intergenerational levels. As we look at Chag HaKatzir, Chag HaBikurim, Chag Shavuot, and Matan Torah. Thank you very much. It's really not that much, I'm and we look at them in different ways, which we think is a lovely primer into a service that we're going to have on Tuesday evening, where we'll read the 10 Commandments, hear them read again, see them, because seeing the 10 Commandments in Torah itself is particularly in Torah as beautiful as ours, is something quite powerful. And then because of one rather esoteric midrash, we're going to eat a lot of dairy in the form of, in this case, mac and cheese, followed by cheesecake, followed by cheesecake later in the evening for those who wish to stay on for a text study, which I'm doing on the idea of chosenness. The last week or so, I've reflected on so many different texts on this Bacha we were chosen. Particularly when the dark humor in me says, looking at the world right now, chosen for this, like really? I kind of feel like I've got to do the New Yorker accent, but I can't do that properly, but you know what I mean? Like really chosen for this? But looking at how we understand that notion of chosenness in terms of receipt of this tradition. That's Tuesday beginning at 5 till 7, then we study and eat afterwards. So that is an invitation. Then next Friday night, we're handing our bimmer, as much as this is a bimmer, over to our friends at Kilat Neshama again for their Friday night song session. The language they call it Neshama Shabbat. Those who were here last time said that it doesn't follow the traditional rubric of a Shabbat service. It is a whole collection of beautiful songs from tradition, from all over Jewish tradition, that are there to make us feel all the feels that they want to feel on Shabbat. So Rabbi Shtiebel and his team are doing that next week, and then come July, they'll be doing the final Shabbat in the month, as we look to share our Shtiebel with as many like-minded fellows as possible, to try and help people who are trying to make a change in how we engage with Judaism, do it as effectively as possible. So that continues from July, and then on the 30th of June, if you haven't, and I'm looking around this room and know that some of you haven't, like some of you had some legitimate excuses, but some of you haven't been at Live at Shtiebel. The first one I thought was great. The second one I just didn't actually have enough sufficient vocabulary to describe how awesome it was. And that's no pressure on people that are going to be part of the third one. Yeah, it's a wonderful opportunity just to share people's creativity, and again, challenge the whole idea of what it means to come together and what will bring us together in such a beautiful way. So, kudos to the Chai Collective and Tammy and her collaborators in that space. We're so grateful to be partnering with them in this sort of project and other projects like it. So there's a few things over the next few weeks, which for us is meant to be quiet time because the last month has been insane with wonderful synchros and other things. But there's so much to do and connect with, and we're really looking forward to doing that with you over the next few weeks. But for now, did I miss anything?
Can we watch past episodes? Hi.
Post episodes of Live Shtiebel. From the third one forward, when we feel confident, we'll have great sound recordings. When we feel confident that we'll have great sound as well as video recordings, because at the moment our pictures and sound don't match each other in terms of the quality.
Okay.
And then we'll be able to perform, I suppose. Or Tammy, really, she'll just decide.
Not just.
But yeah, no, we really want to try and capture it. We've captured it perfectly in the room.
Definitely snippets.
Yeah, we've captured it perfectly in the room, which we're super proud of, with better lighting and better sound last time. Now we want to get the end with great images. Now we want to get that all together. Because people really don't have a clue what we're talking about. No one's really ever seen anything like it before, not in this town. This town doesn't do news so well, as we discussed.
You're not actually exaggerating.
I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah.
No, this is not the alcohol. This is like legitimate. Huh? You gonna stop when? Yeah, I'm embarrassing you? Oh, it's all good. This idea was actually not embarrassing. This idea was actually
That's it, yeah, it was.
was Tammy's capstone, her thesis. She wrote about the importance of being able to create these spaces and what it would do to foster community, and we're able to do it now, which is just amazing. Occasionally a little homework, but mostly just amazing. Page 26. It really is a wonder that I haven't dropped all my ideals, because they seem so absurd and impossible to carry out. Yet I keep them because in spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart. I simply can't build my hopes on a foundation of confusion, misery, and death. I see the world gradually being turned into a wilderness. I hear the approaching thunder, I can feel the suffering of millions, and yet if I look up into the heavens, I think that will all come out right one of these days. That this cruelty will end, and that peace and tranquility will return again. In the meantime, I must hold on to my ideals. For perhaps the day will come by your company when I shall be able to carry them out. In the meantime, we must hold on to our ideals, for perhaps the day will come when we will be able to carry them out. All right, choice this week for the weeks to come. Let's rise in English. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Look at the steam coming off the hollow. It is better when it's rising color.